For decades, the discourse surrounding romantic dynamics has been clouded by a singular, frustrating trope: the mystery of the female mind. We've been conditioned to believe that women are unpredictable, an enigma wrapped in a riddle, governed by logic that defies standard reasoning. But what if the code isn't broken? What if you've simply been reading the wrong manual? To understand the American dating landscape today, one must look past the surface-level drama and into the subconscious architecture that has kept the human race thriving for millennia. At the core of female psychology is a mechanism often misunderstood by men: the need for congruence. While men are often socialized to value direct, literal communication, women have evolved a sophisticated system of indirect testing, not out of malice, but out of necessity. Evolutionarily, the stakes of choosing a partner were significantly higher for women than for men. A poor choice didn't just mean a bad breakup, it meant physical and resource vulnerability. Consequently, women developed a safety filter. When a woman tests a man, perhaps by challenging his opinion or pulling back emotionally, she isn't looking for a right answer. She's looking for emotional stability. If a man becomes defensive, angry, or overly apologetic, he reveals that his frame is easily broken. In the subconscious female mind, if a man cannot handle her emotional turbulence, how can he handle the world's? Understanding this shifts the perspective from "she's being difficult" to "she's checking if I'm the rock I claim to be." In the modern American context, this biological hardwiring is colliding with the digital revolution. Never before has the paradox of choice been more prevalent. With a simple swipe, the average woman has access to more options than her grandmother had in a lifetime. However, this hasn't made dating easier, it has made it a psychological minefield. Psychologically, an abundance of choice leads to analysis paralysis and a heightened fear of settling. For men, this means the barrier to entry is no longer just being a nice guy, it is about differentiation. The video highlights that in a sea of digital noise, the most attractive trait a man can possess is intentionality. When a man is clear about his purpose and his path, he cuts through the static of 1,000 "hey" messages. One of the most profound things you weren't taught is the distinction between how the male and female brain process stress. When a man faces a problem, his brain moves toward the solution center. He wants to fix it, categorize it, and move on. Conversely, female psychology often prioritizes emotional processing. When she vents about her day, she isn't looking for a tactical manual on how to talk to her boss, she's seeking a reflection of her emotional state. When a man tries to fix her feelings, he inadvertently invalidates them. The psychological bridge is built not through logic, but through attunement. By simply saying, "That sounds incredibly frustrating. I can see why you feel that way," a man does more for the relationship than a three-plan plot ever could. Perhaps the most controversial yet essential chapter of female psychology involves the concept of pre-selection and scarcity. Psychology tells us that humans value what is difficult to obtain. In the realm of attraction, if a man is too available, constantly texting, always free, perpetually seeking validation, his value drops in the subconscious hierarchy. This isn't about playing games, it's about maintaining a life of one's own. Female psychology is highly responsive to a man who has mission over muse. When a woman realizes she's a part of a man's world rather than the center of it, it triggers a deep-seated respect. It signals that he has boundaries, goals, and a sense of self that isn't dependent on her approval. It creates the gap, a space where curiosity and longing can grow. Without the gap, attraction suffocates. There is a fine line in the male-female dynamic that many men trip over, the difference between being vulnerable and being weak. Female psychology craves intimacy, which requires a man to share his thoughts and feelings. However, there is a biological turnoff triggered by emotional dumping. A man who uses his partner as his sole therapist or emotional crutch creates a burden of care that eventually kills sexual tension. True psychological mastery involves leading with vulnerability, sharing the struggle after you have found a way to navigate it rather than while you're drowning in it. Despite modern social narratives, the underlying psychology of attraction remains largely traditional. Women generally are attracted to competence, whether it's his ability to navigate a city, lead a conversation, or manage a crisis. A man's competence provides a psychological cushion of safety. When a man asks, "What do you want for dinner? Where should we go? And what do you want to do?" he's handing over the lead, forcing her into an executive role she likely wants to vacate in her romantic life. Understanding that taking the lead is an act of service, not an act of dominance, is the key to unlocking a different level of harmony. The mysteries of female psychology are mysterious if you refuse to look at the blueprints. By understanding the need for emotional stability, the importance of scarcity, and the power of competence, you stop reacting to the symptoms of a relationship and start influencing the source. The American dating scene is complex, but the underlying biological drivers are ancient and consistent. When you learn to speak the silent language of the subconscious, you don't just become a better partner, you become a man who is impossible to ignore. The question is no longer, what do women want, but rather, are you the man capable of providing the strength they are looking for? Ready to master the mechanics of attraction and human behavior? Don't leave your success to chance. Hit the subscribe button now and join a community dedicated to decoding the secrets of psychology and social dynamics.